It's Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillo's Dudes. Featuring Frank. And Jen.
What happened? Did I go too fast? What happened?
I'm so used to now that at last being so hot. We're like, I still got another minute.
No. Hello, everyone. This is Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillo's Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I'm Frank, and we are here for the next 30 minutes, giving you 3 topics, 3 subjects, 3 things we're going to talk about here. You in the chat drive the conversation. Normally, typically, we do topics or subjects that happen between when we record Theme Park Thursday, the podcast, which dropped this morning. There's a lot of my trip report and what happens here on Theme Park Thursday Live. This week, we kind of have a little bit of a mix. So we had a little bit of everything this week. A little bit something new, something already happened that we talked about on the podcast, and then something coming up in the future. And I'm going to do this hand gesture when I talk about the past, present, future.
Just keep doing this so people understand it better.
Jazz hands. You don't think my Yeti's connected?
Oh, now it's well. Now that's okay.
When did you send it?
I could have just said. I just did it now.
Is it connected now?
To
Do you hear me now?
Discreet.
Do you hear me now? Is it working?
Yes.
Anywho, here we are. Hello, everyone in the chat. And
we have to address this though first here. How long till we can convince Frank to do a Chevy Chase style cold open where he falls down the stairs?
If I was still in my mid-20s, I would consider that. But I'm
20
not
years ago.
I'm here 20 years ago when I had, I did a touring production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, and we went around to a lot of schools, and I did a lot of my own stunt work. Didn't know what I was doing, but I had no problem like throwing myself into walls and going backwards over benches, doing flat back falls, things like that. I don't think it served me well in the long run. But
you think?
Maybe. So you never know. Maybe someday, Jeffers, just for you. Maybe we'll add the $20 tier, $25 tier where Frank does a stunt every month.
Yeah. Who is that guy on Letterman that would always do like a crazy stunt type thing?
Like Super Dave?
Maybe it was Super. No, I feel like I'm thinking about somebody else. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can't think of it right now though.
All right, here we go. 3 subjects, 3 topics. Jen. Topic number 1, Space 220 is opening on 9/20. It's official. Yeah, there's an official date, Monday the 20th for Space 220. Topic number 2, it's your AP exam, everyone.
What? Oh, boo.
We touched on annual passes a little bit this week, and I will admit that, we were talking more about my trip report, but I also didn't study up enough about the APs to the annual passes, as it were. Like, you don't know what the APs are. Hello.
Right.
To really maybe chat a little bit more about them. And so we'll take a little time there to talk about that. And then finally, topic number 3, where are we going?
Where are you going? Well, Dave Matthews.
Where are we going? What are we doing? So 1 week from Saturday, we will be at the House of Blues for the Party reunion concert. If you don't know who the Party is, what have you been doing with your life? A group of all new Mickey Mouse Club members, circa 1989, 1990, 1991. 5 of them got together. They had this awesome group, the Party, for a couple of years. They're getting back together on September 11th at the House of Blues. We're going. We'll be in attendance. Mm-hmm. And now the question becomes, and we dabbled a little bit on the podcast as well. I think we're getting now. We really need to kind of decide are we going to a park? Should we go to a park? Which park should we go to? Do we just resort hop? What are we doing? Where are we going? Hence topic number 3. So that's the 3 topics: Space 220, the APs, and where are we going?
I would just like to say I never took an AP exam. So
never.
No. What? What was I in AP classes in high school? No.
I took several AP exams. Never did well on any of them because they were all during baseball season. So I was always rushing to get them done. And then I was really mad at my art history one. The teacher and I did not get along, and they would not let me leave the AP exam to go to the home game. And so I was so annoyed. I was like, literally, they're playing right now. Just let me out. I don't want to do this test anymore. Let me out. Right. You're like, no. Anyway,
we can talk more about that in the post show. Theme Park Rob live from #AlwaysMGM in the chat right now.
Oh, interesting.
Getting that BGM MGM on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you find a quiet spot? Tell everyone where you are so they can find you. Because everyone else is watching us from MGM, so they'll just sit with you while you watch.
I'm gonna go with topic number 2 first. The AP exam. Okay. It was the big story of the week. The annual pass program was announced. It starts on the 8th of September on sale. I'm gonna take it over to our friends Crystal and Bryson over at For Love of Mouse. Tweet at them. For Love of Mouse. ForTheLoveOfTheMouse.com. So back at Walt Disney World, it's all in time for the 50th anniversary. As Jen mentioned on the podcast, the 3 tiers before the big tier are all Florida resident related. Mm-hmm. The Pixie Dust Pass, Florida resident. Disney Pirate Pass, Florida resident. There's a $300 difference there. Then you get into the DVC/Florida resident at $8.99 plus tax. Don't forget the tax.
Yeah.
I have a beef with tax separately from all this. Maybe I'll take that to the post show too. And then, as mentioned, the Incredipass at $12.99. $12.99. And note that you do not get the old PhotoPass Memory Maker situation anymore with that. So that is the gist. We have talked in the past about, and again, I mentioned it a little bit because when you take away the Memory Maker PhotoPass situation, at least for one trip, right? It's $150. Well, now it's $169 or $199 if you forget to do it. So that used to be a big, you take that money off item. Like I'm going to take $170 off to $12.99, and now I'm left with carry the 1 minus 2, $11.29, whatever we're talking to figure out how much. And then usually the next thing we talk about is parking. And if we're going for 8 days, let's just say throughout the year, and you're not staying in a resort. So also with that caveat, you're staying off site, usually can take off another $200, and I would take it down to $929. You want to put in some merchandise discounts, some restaurant discounts. Again, I'm back with this motion. Merchandise and restaurant that you want to take off, even just to be moderate, take it down to $800. So you're basically saying, even though I just said 8 days in the park for parking, 7 to 8 days you got to be in the park at these dynamic pricing rates.
Right.
You're adding another day now with the Memory Maker PhotoPass situation going away. Is it worth? Jen, do you still find value in a $12.99 ticket?
I find it funny that Steffers just skipped ahead. She's like, I know where you're going with this, Frank, and APs aren't worth it. Done. She just answered it for you. Tombstone Josh, nice to see you. Enjoy your ribs, by the way.
Tombstone Josh.
So do I still find value? I'm probably going to figure out a way to find value in it. Of course I am. I still think it all depends on 2 things. One, will you be there enough days during the year where it's going to equal out or end up being a deal? Or 2, can you pay it up front? Because those were always my 2 biggest things. Like, well, I'm going a lot this year. This makes sense, but I actually can't shell that all out right now. So maybe I can't do that. So those are always the big things holding me back. So I am very sad, like I said on the podcast today, to see the PhotoPass go, because I think that was huge. That's a great perk. I'm not happy about these perks being taken away and now you have to pay for them. I don't love that. So I'll find value in it at some point again, because I'm sure I'm going to want an annual pass again. So I'll talk myself into it, but I don't love that they've taken things away.
Lewis mentioning the magnets. I mean, yeah, like, you know, when we did our Galactic Star Cruiser episode a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, you know, we were deducting. And yeah, I want to take some. How much is a magnet? You want to take another $10 off your
magnets are probably more than $10 at
of that size.
Of that size. Because I was going to ask Theme Park Rob if maybe he could go into a merchandise location while he's on property, check out prices of magnet. Find the biggest magnet you can and report back on how much it is. Because it's like, you know, when I go through this cabinet back here and I pick things up to see if prices are still on it and go, you can't get anything for that price anymore.
Yeah. And agreed. I think PhotoPass is a big situation in all of this, and really determining, like, again, of how many days, because you could find it. If I was going for 10 days, 100% I would do it. But I know I'm pushing it by going 7 to 8 days in a year.
Right.
Whether I'm talking 3 long weekends, whether I'm talking like what I just did, the 5 days plus a long weekend. Could I get there? Maybe. But I will say, I think the biggest perk there is for Florida residents is the fact that you can pay monthly.
Oh,
if
yeah,
I had
for
to pay
sure.
monthly, like, I would have an annual pass forever. 100%.
Yeah.
Like,
Forever.
there's not even a question. Forever.
No, totally. And I think the other thing for me is, and now it came in my head, and the park hopping is big for me.
Right. That's
so, and I think that goes back to early Dillo days when we used to get, as a family, have annual passes when we would take 2 trips a year, but Papa Dillo would always spring for the annual passes because the park hopping was included and we could just do whatever we wanted. It's a little harder now because of the park reservations, so that makes it a little tougher. So there's a little more involved now, but that's a big perk that I think is still around. So for now, so yeah.
No, and that's fair too, and that's another great way, I guess, if we're going to talk positive about it for a moment, and another way to take value off of that $12.99, right? Because it's that I got a single ticket. As we'll get to for topic number 3, you know, if you're gonna get a single ticket for $132, there is no way I'm throwing another $85 on top of it for $200 park hopping tickets for a single day. Not in a million years. I mean, we debated it mildly, I think, for the day that we were in Epcot, because Epcot was open at 11 and we at the time had an Ohana 7:40 reservation, but we stayed up way late the night before for Magic Kingdom. It was like, look, we'll visit Ohana again, no worries. And so we got rid of the Ohana reservation for breakfast the next morning. And, you know, but at the time it was like, well, if we get into the Kingdom at 9 and go over to Epcot at 2, is that, and then just going, that's a $250 extra basically we're going to spend for park hopping. No. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. But with an annual pass, considering that's something to think about.
Yeah, the whole reservation thing throws a wrench in it, because you could wake up, go into Magic Kingdom one morning, go, everyone's at Magic Kingdom today. You know what? I'm going to go back to the hotel and swim a little bit, and I'll just like hop over to the studios later, you know, when it dies out. But you can't just do that now, too. So although with park hopping, I don't know. I got to read up on the park hopping a little more of how they're working that with the annual passes.
I'm curious, was it Jen freezing that time or was it me freezing?
Oh, so, everyone, place your bets.
Who do you have? Who do you got? Who went frozen that time? Yeah, I mean, and so that is something that I had not thought about until right now, is the park hopping. Steffers is like, no, Universal AP.
It is not a value. Steffers, do you think Universal will be raising their prices? Because I've seen some chatter about that out in the world now that Disney has done it and is charging for certain things. And they're still charging more than Universal. But do you think Universal will kind of like, let's nudge it up a little bit?
Or do you think that they will stand their ground until Epic Universe and then just take the dynamite and go, everything
Well,
is
that's true. That's true. Well, yeah, they do it annually,
sure,
but will they do something in between? You don't think it'll be a Disney move? What does that mean, stuffers?
Disney move. Here we are at
Right.
8:15. We're halfway through the 30 minutes so far. So let's talk about topic number 1, Space 220 on 9/20. They'll take it over to the Orlando Weekly here. This week, Epcot shared and Walt Disney World shared their opening date for their new outer space themed restaurant, Space 220. The airlock doors open September 20th. The restaurant takes a page from the nearby Mission Space ride, fully theming its interior after a working space station. So Disney promises upscale contemporary fare for lunch and dinner. The lunch service will be a 2-course prix menu, while dinner offers options on a 3-course prix menu. The ambiance of the restaurant will be aided by a view of Earth from the edge of space. Now, right here, I'm going to tell you what this screams to me, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Be our guest in outer space, because the 2-course prix menu, I'm like, well, they know what the price points will be, and will I eat there is really the question. What I really want to know is, because I spent a good amount of time in Epcot on Saturday and hit almost all the attractions currently in play. Got a little bit of the Epcot nighttime vibe for the first time, probably in 7 years, maybe.
So good.
Because most of the time, Epcot's like my out day. Like, I'll leave in the middle of the afternoon
Which
to
is
go to the airport.
I don't know what you're doing with that, by the way.
Listen,
Why would you do that?
Because, well, I guess we can discuss Studios at night, Kingdom at night, Epcot at night. We can have about 15 episodes based on that. So
Yes.
They're all great. But right
Have
now,
fun at Salvi's theme park, Rob.
have fun at Savi's theme park, Rob. Oh. And, so my question is whether it can deliver a little bit on the old school Epcot ambiance. That's really where I'm at with it. Can we bring a little more of that old Epcot flair? That's what piques my interest most about this restaurant.
Yes, I am hoping so. That's why a lot of the Epcot changes, as much as we go, oh, we don't like change and whatever else, a lot of the Epcot changes I was okay with, because I felt like maybe there'd be some of that old school Epcot vibe as they were making these changes and updates. So I'm hoping this is one of those. However, I did see the elevator, like Dr. Val mentioned, and I know that elevator is going to be Disney quality and is going to be awesome. However, if you've been to New York City, and Frank, I don't know if you've ever been here. Have you been to Mars 2112?
I have.
Yeah. Don't they do that? You go in and you take an elevator to Mars?
Right. You go in inside, what the equivalent of a hydrolator at the Living Seas back in the day. And it was a little bit of a flight simulator situation. And then, you go into the restaurant.
Or if you didn't want to do that, you could just go right through the doors. And
How long? Yeah. They're like, I get motion sickness. Can I just go right through the doors?
Yeah. So it reminded me of that. So I was like, hey, wait a second. Did they just steal that from Mars 2112? Which, in fairness to Mars 2112, that's your little taste of theme park action in Midtown Manhattan. But I have high hopes for 220, and I really hope it does give you some of that old school vibe. I hope that I just hope it delivers on the expectations and the coolness. And this is kind of like one of the first new things, or is it the first new thing opening at Epcot at this point? Yeah. So from all those changes they announced, so let's go. You better bring it. Don't Dillo this, which I kind of feel like they're doing already. I feel like they've been Dilloing the announcement of the date, and they don't really talk much about it. They haven't showed you too much about it. It's kind of like this thing, and we're opening it on the 20th. Well, wait, can we get more information? Are we excited about this? What's happening here?
Yeah, Mars 2112, Jen, opened in what year?
I think I don't even remember the last time I was there, but I know I was there in 1999, 2000. So it had to be before that. I'll say 95.
Now, in November 1998. So you probably were there at Christmas time or something.
New, yeah.
And then what year did it close?
I didn't know it closed. So.
The way you were talking about it, I was like, I don't think she knows it's closed.
No. I really haven't been. I think I was there one other time except that 1999 one, and that was probably only like 2 years later or something.
January of 2012.
Oh, all right. It was open a while.
Right after you got married. That was it.
Yeah, that's right.
But
right.
I'm hoping, because again, you get you visit Epcot and you get enough of the Epcot vibes. You're like, all right, now this restaurant bring the Epcot vibes.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. I just want to see what Lewis said here. My only concern is that the space theme is going to be kind of weird. I saw the picture of spacewalks outside the window. If they need to be out there, why am I eating a bowl of bread? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting take.
Is there soup in the? Is soup in the bowl of bread? Do you like a good bread bowl soup? Maybe
that's some good stuff. A little chowder in the bread bowl.
You got to do the white clam chowder.
Yeah, obviously. It'll be interesting to see.
All right. Lastly, but not leastly, here we need to have a serious conversation.
Oh, yes.
Where are we going?
Where are we going?
So. We've mentioned it multiple times on the Theme Park Thursday podcast before. Catch it all on your favorite podcatchers. But we will be flying into Orlando on Friday night, September the 10th, and staying for less than 36 hours. 35 hours is actually the amount of time that we are staying. Saturday night, we will be at the Party reunion concert at House of Blues. Come say hi. And we're pumped. We're psyched. It's 30 years in the making. We are not inside. We are not Dilloing the situation.
No.
So, no, 100%. I'm like, oh my God, it's a week away. Ugh.
Right.
And then we have to decide what to do with the rest of our life. Now, since we recorded the Theme Park Thursday podcast episode, we now have a hotel. We now have a rental car.
Oh, I didn't know about the rental car.
We have a rental car. And then we are left with, what are we actually doing? It would be nice to, on the Friday night, to get in on time, maybe get like an hour at Disney Springs that night just to kind of soak in the things, soak in the vibes. And that, we wanted jelly rolls open by then, but we're not getting jelly rolls. That's fine.
Saturday, to Trader Sam's.
Oh, Trader Sam's on the Friday night.
I mean, it's Friday night and it's late. I don't think we're getting in, but something to think about.
So then moving to Saturday initially, we again trying to keep the budget low. We're thinking resort hopping. I put in like a breakfast reservation so that we could do like a little resort hopping in one area. I did a lunch reservation. Maybe we do a little resort hopping in the other area for the afternoon. And then, you visit the theme parks and you go, wow, but I could go back on the Saturday. Let's just leave Animal Kingdom out of the equation. Right?
That's no hate towards it.
No.
But again, that when we are there for a short amount of time, we don't really find time for the Animal Kingdom. So that's not on the table for us at this time.
And let me just say, I'll say one nice thing right now. We haven't talked much about my trip report to the Animal Kingdom yet. But let me say one nice thing is when you're staying at All-Star Movies, it is like nothing to get to.
Oh, yeah. It's like right next door.
Bonus, like 100%. Value hotel, Animal Kingdom is right there for you. I like that. So we got Magic Kingdom, we got Epcot, we got Studios. Do we go to a park on that day?
Do we lay out the other option that we do have on Saturday night?
We could talk about the other option on the Saturday night. The timing of that scares me.
I know. Because it is one or the other.
Yeah. There is an event. There's an event at the studios at 10 o'clock that night. But there's the concert, I think, starts at 7, right? Mm-hmm. Tony Luca is the opening act for the party. Yes. So you got to at least put 90 minutes on the concert, at least. Mm-hmm. And then there's supposed to be like an after party at the House of Blues. So is that taking you to 10 o'clock or a little bit before 10 that you then can travel to the after party that is happening at the studios in Galaxy's Edge, that the pricing of which is less than currently, I believe, a 1-day pass to a park.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
All right. What does everyone think here? Lewis is saying shortstop is Epcot or Hollywood Studios all the way. Easiest transportation. Dr. Val said I would say Hollywood Studios. Epcot just doesn't feel great because of construction.
Now keep in mind, Jen didn't get to do Food and Wine on her trip in July. She was between the two festivals. So that is Jen's leaning towards Epcot, I feel, a little bit because of that.
Yeah, I go back and forth.
I think I would say we're probably leaning between Epcot and Studios more than
Here's my big thing too. I'm sad. I mean, I'm always sad when Jelly Rolls isn't an option and can't be on the table. I'm extra sad. I did not spend any time in the boardwalk area during my 2 weeks in Orlando.
1.5 weeks spent in Disney Springs.
No time on the boardwalk area, which is very unusual for me. So I do want to make it over there a bit, and I think we will.
I think we know someone over in that area.
Yeah. That may change. That would change your vote for Food and Wine, Dr. Val.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, World Showcase. If you can ignore. Well, the barges I did see during my week and a half there.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much.
That's a good point. Yeah. That is a good point. Paul, are you the opening act for Tony Luca? Will you be coming out first? Future World just doesn't feel great to me. Yeah, I get that. There's a lot of walls up. A lot of walls. Yeah, I mean, in Hollywood Studios makes sense. I don't know. I don't know what to. I feel like we need to figure out that night more and then work our way backwards. I feel like that's how it has to go.
What I haven't checked either is whether there are still Studios reservations that day. That could also determine everything.
Yeah. Nothing will be available except the Animal Kingdom.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, so Epcot, I think definitely could sample more at Food and Wine, I think is the big thing. I would say I have mostly breezed through the World Showcase in both my last trips in May and this past time. I felt like I didn't. Granted, I ate in La Hacienda when I thought I had San Angel, but I had La Hacienda, so I got to eat there for the first time. Mm-hmm. I spent a little time in Germany because it was downpouring during that time, but I haven't really gone through Japan in a while.
Yeah,
I haven't gone through Canada in a while. I haven't gone through France in a while. So I feel like I walked a little bit of France with Theme Park Rob. I take that back. I walked that one back. But I feel like it could go either way because obviously I want to go to the studios. I always want to go to the studios.
Right. And Dr. Val makes good points. I know numbers are low, but World Showcase on weekends during Food and Wine are crazy busy, which, right, that makes sense. And if numbers stay where they're at now, I feel like studios is kind of a must do when you can kind of walk on everything at this point. Yeah. Right.
So that comes into play. And obviously, Animal Kingdom, we probably could hit everything in one day. As I just did on Monday. So now these are the considerations to be made here. Maybe we'll have an update on next week's podcast episode of Theme Park Thursday. If you didn't listen, some folks here got to hear our balcony level conversation over at DillosDizResort.com, our Patreon, where we're taking this post show over to DillosDizResort.com. We have 3 tiers. Tiers start as low as $1 per month. We get to join our $1 Discord, but our $10, we sometimes record the podcast live in front of our balcony members, and that's a whole lot of fun. So that's what we did with today's episode of the podcast, and we'll drop another one either tomorrow or Saturday. Talking about the Magic Kingdom. We talked mostly about the studios today on the trip, and that's where we are with that. But right now, we're going over to DillosDizResort.com for a little post-show convo, as it were. DillosDizResort.com, your virtual destination for exclusive Dillos Diz content. Do we do everything? Thanks to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Tell your friends. We're going to talk about a review that came in on the Apple Podcast today over at Dillos Diz on the Apple iTunes podcast thing. We're going to start off right out of the gate with that. Jen has feelings. not really. But thanks everyone in the chat. We'll see you over at the resort. Until next time, she's Jen and I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
This is...